This is a VN Calais 5 litre. Now, if you guys follow the channel, you know that I love VNs. I really do. And I have actually had a VN Calais, but if you're out of Australia and you're not familiar with what a Calais is, this is the top of the line luxury model. Doesn't get much better than this within the Holden range. Maybe HSV, but within Holden, this is as good as it gets. So with this car, we have a lot of unique features, but on the outside, one of the things that defines this car is the two-tones. And this one is a white over grey. Now we are thinking that because this is one of the last ever VN Calais made, it was September 1991, so really one of the last ones made, that this one might have got some of the VP colours. So that is why this one is a little bit darker. This car is really honest, you know, it's not been in accidents, it's not been resprayed and stuff like that. This is a really good, honest VN. And that alone is pretty rare, let alone in this colour, in this combination, Calais 5 litre. It's just a really great car. One of the ways that you know this is an honest car, still has its original windscreen. I mean, how crazy is that? And it also has a factory sunroof. Factory sunroof from the 80s, you know, pretty damn rare. It's very cool, this car. And again, having a clean, honest VN is rare enough, but having a Calais with all the fruit, pretty cool. At the back here is actually quite different than a normal VN as well. This is black, where on my car and most VNs, this is grey. It's got this silver that runs through over and continues on the tail lights. The tail lights are darker. The V8 5 litre badges are silver on these cars. And rather than say Holden Commodore, it says Holden Calais. Another thing that's really cool, for some reason the Calais is in a different font. They always did that. Not exactly sure why. Different size font, different size badges, but it is very cool. And we can also see that the chrome fills in this strip, where on my car, it's just these two little pinstripe stickers, but on this, you have real proper chrome. And this one has been optioned with a tow package. Again, pretty cool car. I mean, these were capable. It was the first real consumer car that had the injected version of the Holden 5 litre. Yes, you could get it in the VL Walkinshaw, but you know, those were pretty expensive halo cars. This was the first sort of consumer car that had the Holden 5 litre, and it was a new shape for Holden. It was a new engine. There was a lot of firsts about this car, and it's just really interesting to see one that's top of the line in fantastic condition almost 35 years later. I actually have a personal connection with the VN Calais. First of all, my first VN wasn't a Calais, but it was a white VN V6 Executive. And I actually went to the wreckers at the day and pulled out the interior of a VN Calais, the same interior that's in this car, and the steering wheel, and put it on that car because, well, I didn't have enough money probably for a Calais, so I did the next best thing. But then I also bought a 5 litre Calais. It was a very, very good car. I really, really liked that car, and I don't know where it is now. It's probably gone, but it was azure blue, I think it is. It was like this sort of morning blue colour over silver. It was a really, really good car. It was a 5 litre, just like this one. Really liked the Calais, and even that car, everything worked on it. It had the electric antenna. I really, really liked that car. So the interior of the VN Calais is very nice, and this particular one is really, really good. There is a lot of features in this car that mine is missing. So let's go over that. First of all, the radio in this car is much more filled out than the radio in my car. Mine is very simple, very basic. This one has everything. I mean, you can even adjust the bass, you can adjust the balance. It's really cool. We have climate control, a little screen, and mine definitely doesn't have that. It's all knobs and dials. We have electric windows, which is awesome. We have an electric antenna, which we can control moving it up and down. We have cruise control. We have a trip computer that we can set. And this steering wheel is also unique to the Calais. This was the same as the SS wheel, but in this car, it's grey. Now, I don't know if I'm imagining this or not, but we're comparing this door card to my VN Executive, and this one is really soft, and I'm not sure whether mine are just worn out or what, but these are much nicer, much softer than my car. The styling of these seats is unique to the VN Calais, and they are just so comfortable. It's a really, really nice place to be. And also the factory sunroof. I don't think I've ever been in a VN that has a factory sunroof. It's really cool, and just everything from the carpeted sun visors, just the headlining. It's a really cool car, this, and I'm actually quite excited to drive it. It's interesting how different this car feels than my VN. They feel like completely different cars, even though they're both VN 5 litres. As I mentioned before, this is one of the main draws to the VN. This, like I said earlier, it was the first normal car that you could get the injected 5 litre in. Yes, you could get it in the VL Walkinshaw, but you know, those cars really are collector's items. This was the first normal car that you could get them. And I absolutely love this motor. I have one of these in my VN and they're just great. And this is one of the defining things about the VN. This one in particular, you know, being auto, is they make a great cruiser. All right guys, we are in the VN Calais 5 litre. Now it is interesting because I was just talking with the owner and we're just surprised how different this car drives than my VN. Again, same thing. This one is very relaxed. The seats are so comfortable. I don't know, it's a real cruiser. Where my VN is very aggressive, wants to be driven really hard, this is not like that at all. It's really cool, and you know, cruise control, everything works. Car, and it's also just getting a lot of attention. I just got to look from it then, but very cool. And just that sound just sounds unreal. It's quite rare for me to drive a VN with such low Ks, but again, this car just drives tight as a drum. It's just so interesting that it just feels so different. I love everything from the sunroof, the seats, the smell even. It's very luxurious. Just everything you touch is really soft and squishy. Just really cool car. It really is properly nice. It is interesting comparing this to its predecessor, the VL Calais though, because you know that had a Carby 304 or the Nissan RB30 or RB30 Turbo. I've driven lots of VLs and they are very, very smooth, and I do think this is probably a little bit rougher than the VL Calais, but that's okay. I mean, it was Holden's first new thing, so I don't know. I think they did really well. It's a great car. I really enjoy it, and it's just a car that would never exist today, and it's definitely one of them. And if you're collecting VNs or you're collecting any of these earlier cars, you really can see why the 5 litres were part of that. Again, look, they're not crazy fast, but they're fast enough. They really are, and they just sound so good. I guys enjoyed the video. I love VNs, as you can probably tell by the smile on my face. And even doing the video on this has just really, you know, brought back a few memories. These are really cool cars. They're very desirable now in the VN range. And yeah, just big old lazy cruisers. They're really, really awesome to drive. And if you guys would like your car on the channel, then please feel free to get in touch. Otherwise, thank you guys for liking, commenting and subscribing. I love these old 90s cars. They're just so cool. They're so tough, so strong. Yeah, anyway, that's the end of the video.